Welcome to WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I am your presenter, Jessica Klein. First on the local scene. A major summit to address the implementation of the recently crafted Food and Agriculture Systems Transformation FAST strategy, which has since been launched in Grenada, will take place in St. Vincent. A release states that ministers of agriculture from the OECS sub-region will be in attendance. The summit is expected to last 2 days and will be held at the NIS conference room on August 31st and September 1st, 2023. The FAST strategy was created to encompass central pillars, inclusive of establishing more efficient and sustainable methods for food and agriculture production, processing, and distribution in order to offset rising food costs and ensure that the general public can access affordable and healthy foods. Day one of the summit will be a Council of Ministers meeting, and day two will focus on an active interaction with the private sector. On August 21st, 2023, 33-year-old Sid Roy Bowens of Lomans Hill was charged with wounding. Bowens, a laborer, is accused of unlawfully wounding a 62-year-old retiree of the same address by striking him in the face with a steel pot. According to a release from the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the offense was committed on the 11th of August at about 8:30 p.m. in Lomans Hill. Bowens appeared at the Kingston Magistrate Court on Tuesday, 22nd August 2023, and pleaded not guilty. He was granted bail in the sum of 2,000 EC dollars with one surety and was ordered to not have any contact with the complainant. The matter was adjourned to Tuesday, 7th November 2023. Still on the local scene, Randall Peters, a 32-year-old farmer of Lomans, Windward, was arrested and charged with grievous bodily harm. Peters is accused of unlawfully and maliciously inflicting grievous bodily harm on a 30-year-old laborer of Lauders by striking him about his body with a cutlass. An official release by the RSVGPF states that the offense was committed at Lauders at about 7:30 p.m. on July 5th, 2023. Peters appeared at the Calico Magistrate Court on Tuesday, 22nd August, and pleaded not guilty. He was granted bail in the sum of $2,500, and the matter was transferred to the Bayabu Magistrate Court for hearing on Friday, 22nd September 2023. On the regional scene, prison authorities in Barbados have formally asked the government to compensate officers who have been working extra hours without compensation under a shift that was first instituted during the COVID-19 outbreaks at the Dodds St. Philip Penal Institution 2 years ago. Acting Prison Superintendent DeCarlo Payne told Barbados Today that not only was the matter of compensation being addressed, but efforts were on the way to scrap the offending 12-hour shift. Payne said that while the prison officers were legally required to work 8-hour shifts, having to work the additional 4 hours was physically taxing. The 12-hour shift was introduced as a result of manpower shortages when the prison was hit with a COVID-19 outbreak in January of 2021. During the outbreak, there were 363 infected persons, including 85 prison officers, 261 prison inmates, and 17 non-protective service staff members. Payne confirmed that the Barbados Prison Service is undertaking a recruitment drive to return its number to the optimum level of 372 warders, with the aim of scrapping the 12-hour shift. St. Lucia has recorded an increase in respiratory illnesses at public and private health facilities on the island during the period of hosting mass crowd activities. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George made the disclosure in a statement on Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. In a COVID-19 situation update, Belmar George noted that new variants in the country seem more contagious than regular influenza, causing respiratory illness lasting 5 to 7 days. The CMO observed that the testing rate is generally very low at this time and most patients are managing the symptoms at home, self treating until recovery. She also stated that the majority of patients make a full recovery without hospitalization or death. Nevertheless, the Ministry of Health has advised the nation to upkeep measures to prevent respiratory illness infections. And finally, on the international scene, Japan is facing protests in the region and retaliation from Beijing for its controversial discharge of treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the Pacific Ocean. China is the biggest buyer of seafood from Japan and announced on Thursday that it will block all such imports. Japan says the water is safe, and many scientists agree, as well as the UN's nuclear watchdog that has also approved the plan. Critics, however, say more studies needed to be done and the release should be halted. More than 1 million tons of water stored at the nuclear plant will be discharged over the next 30 years. China, which has been the most vocal of opponents since the plan was announced 2 years ago, called the water discharge an extremely selfish and irresponsible act and said that Japan was passing an open wound onto the future generations of the humanity. China's custom office announced shortly after that an existing ban on seafood imports from Fukushima and some prefectures would be immediately extended to cover the whole of Japan and protect the health of Chinese consumers. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Jessica Klein. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. for WeFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.